Well, next July, our country is celebrating its 250th birthday.
Unbelievable.
She looks pretty good.
Yep.
Every week until then, we're digging into our state's past, present, and future.
Erin Connolly has a closer look at one museum that has hundreds of years of history on display. Take a look.
Nestled in the heart of Connecticut's largest historic district, the Webb Dean Stevens Museum consists of 3 historic houses that line Main Street in Old Wethersfield.
It makes for a really special campus. They weren't moved onto this campus. This is where they've always been, and they're at the center of this town.
From left to right, the 8-acre campus encompasses the Silas Dean House, the Joseph Webb House, and the Isaac Stevens House. The Webb House is the oldest of the 3, built in 1752. It served as George Washington's home base and command center in May of 1781.
The Webb House is really the beginning of historic preservation in this town, and it was thought about as worth preserving because George Washington spent the better part of a week here in 1871 to meet with Rochambeau, who was the commander of the French forces supporting the Americans in the Revolution. And there they decided on the military campaign that ultimately ended the Revolutionary War at Yorktown.
The Dean House was home to our nation's first diplomat, Silas Dean, and his wife, Elizabeth.
And if you were really important, you could make it all the way up to his personal chambers, and then, you could talk business.
It was completed in 1769. Dean's efforts led France to become the first country to recognize the United States as an independent nation.
Dean had a separate dining room, which was not a given at that time, but important guests came. Washington actually had dinner here. As a completely separate time. John Adams came here too, so Dean was somebody.
And last but not least, the Stevens House was built by leather worker Isaac Stevens in 1789 after the Revolution. The rooms reflect the taste of a middle-class family in the 1820s and 30s, with many original family possessions on display.
And it really shows how the ideals of liberty and individual opportunity of the Revolution played out afterward, where someone like Stevens could really get ahead. By the end of his life, he actually became a banker, which is telling, and it's the American story.
The campus serves as a place for community gatherings, recreation, and cultural enrichment. Hundreds of years of history that can be told in one place with national and statewide significance.
Looking at the past requires us to empathize with people in the past, and if we practice putting ourselves in their shoes to figure out their homes and how they lived their lives, that teaches us how to empathize with each other, understand each other, pause for a moment, and observe and listen and think carefully. And I think that's something that we can really use, all of us, right now.
Erin Connolly, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.